currently Earth. On April 20th in 1902, Marie and Pierre Curie successfully isolate radioactive radium salts from the mineral pitchblende in their laboratory in Paris. In 1898, the Curies discovered the existence of the elements radium and polonium in their research of pitchblende. 1 year after isolating radium, they would share the 1903 Nobel Prize in Physics with French scientist A. Henri Becquerel for their groundbreaking investigations of radioactivity. Marie Curie was born Marie Skłodowska in Warsaw, Poland in 1867. The daughter of a physics teacher, she was a gifted student and in 1891 went to study at Sorbonne in Paris. With highest honor, she received a degree in physical sciences in 1893 and in mathematics in 1894. That year, she met Pierre Curie, a noted French physicist and chemist who had done important work in magnetism. Marie and Pierre married in 1895, marking the beginning of a scientific partnership that would achieve world renown. Looking for a subject for her doctoral thesis, Marie Curie began studying uranium, which was at the heart of Becquerel's discovery of radioactivity in 1896. The term radioactivity, which describes the phenomenon of radiation caused by atomic decay, was in fact coined by Marie Curie. In her husband's laboratory, she studied the mineral pitchblende, of which uranium is the primary element, and reported the probable existence of one or more other radioactive elements in the mineral. Pierre Curie joined her in her research, and in 1898, they discovered polonium, named after Marie's native Poland, and radium. While Pierre investigated the physical properties of the new elements, Marie worked to chemically isolate radium from pitchblende. Unlike uranium and polonium, radium does not occur freely in nature, and Marie and her assistant André de Bierme laboriously refined several tons of pitchblende in order to isolate 1/10 gram of pure radium chloride in 1902. On the results of this research, she was awarded her doctorate of science in June of 1903, and later in the year shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with her husband and Becquerel. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. Pierre Curie was appointed to the chair of physics at the Sorbonne in 1904, and Marie continued her efforts to isolate pure, non-chloride radium. On April 19th in 1906, Pierre Curie continued his journey in the accident in the Paris streets. Although devastated, Marie Curie vowed to continue her work, and in May 1906 was appointed to her husband's seat at the Sorbonne, thus becoming the university's first female professor. In 1910, with de Bierme, she finally succeeded in isolating pure metallic radium. For this achievement, she was the sole recipient of the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, making her the first person to win a second Nobel Prize. Wow, awesome. She became interested in the medical applications of radioactive substances, working on radiology during World War I and the potential of radium as a cancer therapy. Beginning in 1918, the Radium Institute at the University of Paris began to operate under Curie's direction, and from its inception was a major center for chemistry and nuclear physics. In 1921, she visited the U.S., and President Warren G. Harding, which is our nation's 29th president, presented her with a gram of radium. Curie's daughter, Irene Curie, was also a physical chemist, and with her husband, Frederick Joliot, was awarded the 1935 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for the discovery of artificial radioactivity. Marie Curie continued her eternity in 1934 from leukemia caused by 4 decades of exposure to radioactive substances. Her contributions to our awesome human race. On April 20th in 1978, Soviet aircraft forced a Korean Airlines passenger jet to land in the Soviet Union after the jet veers into Russian airspace. 2 people continued their eternity as a result, and several others were injured when the jet made a rough landing on a frozen lake about 300 miles south of Murmansk. The jet was on a flight from Paris to Seoul when the incident occurred. Soviet officials claimed that the plane, which usually flew over the northern polar regions to reach Seoul, suddenly veered sharply to the east and penetrated Russian airspace. Soviet jets intercepted the passenger plane and ordered it to land. Instead of going to the airfield indicated by the Soviet jets, however, the KAL flight made a very rough landing on a frozen lake south of Murmansk. 2 passengers continued their eternity, and several others were injured during the landing. A short time later, the Soviet Union allowed a civilian American aircraft to retrieve the survivors. U.S. officials were confused about what had gone wrong with the KAL flight, and the Soviet officials were not extraordinarily helpful in clearing up matters. South Korea claimed that navigational errors were to blame for the plane flying so far off course. Aviation experts, however, doubted that errors of that magnitude would occur in such a sophisticated aircraft, or that navigation problems could account for the plane's wildly inaccurate flight pattern. All that could be said for certain was that the episode once again demonstrated the Soviet Union's strict adherence to the protection of its airspace. Since the end of World War II, a number of civilian and military aircraft had been driven away, forced to land or shot down by the Soviet Air Force. The Russian policy would have even more tragic consequences on September 1st in 1983, when Soviet jets shot down KAL Flight 007 after it veered 300 miles off course and flew over the Soviet Union. Nearly 270 people continued their eternity in that crash. It was April 20th in the year 2008 that 26-year-old Danica Patrick wins the Indy Japan 300 at Twin Ring Motegi in Motegi, Japan. This victory making her the first female winner in IndyCar racing history. Danica Patrick was born on March 25th in 1982 in Beloit, Wisconsin. She became involved in racing as a young girl, and as a teenager moved to England in pursuit of better training opportunities. In 2002, after returning to the U.S., she began driving for the Ray Hall Letterman racing team, owned by the 1986 Indianapolis 500 champ Bobby Ray Hall and late-night talk show host David Letterman. In 2005, Patrick started competing in IndyCar events, which include the famed Indianapolis 500 race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Indiana. On May 29th in 2005, Patrick made her Indy 500 debut, becoming just the 4th female driver ever to compete in the celebrated 500-mile race, which was first held in 1911 and today is considered one of auto racing's premier events. Driver Janet Guthrie first broke the gender barrier at the Indy 500 in 1977. During Patrick's inaugural Indy 500, she led the race for 19 laps, making the first time a woman ever led a lap in the competition. In the end, the diminutive driver, who stands 5'2" and tips the scales at 100 pounds, finished the race in 4th place. She later earned Rookie of the Year honors for the Indy Racing's League 2005 season and finished 12th in the overall standings. During the 2006 season, Patrick finished in 9th place in the overall IndyCar standings, but didn't win any major races. In 2007, she moved to the Andretti Green Racing Team and finished the season 7th in the standings. On April 20th in 2008, Patrick won the Indy Japan 300, her 50th IndyCar Series race at Twin Ring Montague, a 1.5-mile oval track, making her the first female winner of a major U.S.-sanctioned open-wheel race. She finished the 200-lap race 5.8594 seconds ahead of Helio Castroneves, then a two-time Indy 500 champ. At the 2009 Indy 500, Patrick came in third behind winner Castroneves and second-place finisher Dan Weldon. Patrick retired from IndyCar after the 2011 season and fully retired from racing in 2018. The information documented on this audio file can be verified on history.com.